these are?
Yes, I do, but
They're real fish balls. Just joking. Yeah, but I like those. The best thing ever.
I've never seen this before.
Just buy them.
Wait, I don't even know what it is.
It's like a fruit flake. Just trust me. It's very weird. It's something you never had before in your life. The texture and the taste.
Eva asked me to make Soondubu, which is like this Korean soup, and it's made in the clay pots, which I really love, and then it's spicy and it's kind of thick, and it has tofu in it, silken tofu, and I made it with pork. It was her first time eating it like a week before we shot this, and so she just wanted to eat it again.
This is real life. Oh, restaurant. Yours.
Oh gosh.
You've waited so long.
I know. It looks so delicious. Wow.
Wait, I have to get mine. Yay! This one is mine.
Can you just eat in silence?
I mean,
I don't know. We can talk.
well, we don't have to talk too much.
No, it's fine. I don't know.
No, but I want to announce them.
Okay, announce them.
Okay, so these are.
You picked really good ones, by the way.
It's called. This one is called oimuchim in Korean.
Oimuchin.
Oimuchim. Because
Oimuchim.
oi is cucumber, and it's like it's in kimchi seasoning sauce.
Okay.
It's spicy. That one is God. That's kongnamur muchim, I think.
Kongnamur.
Kongnamur is the soybean straw.
Yeah, kongnamur.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And then this one is you know, I don't really know all the names in Korean exactly.
Potatoes.
Potatoes and soy sauce and cornstarch.
That's interesting.
All fairly healthy for you.
Yeah.
She's an Asian American. She grew up in Singapore. She went through like the process of like being an immigrant because she moved to upstate New York when she was like 6 or 7, and she dealt with all of that, but just not like while she was in a white body. So she doesn't have the full experience, but she does know what it's like to be an Asian American.
Your like fob experience, because you were a fob. That's exactly what you were.
What is a fob?
Fresh off the boat.
I was kind of fresh off the boat. Actually, I think I had a really hard time assimilating. But I think also my parents, after living there for 6 or 7 years, they also had a really hard time like returning to the American culture.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because they had this like outside perspective, and I felt like actually like looking back, I feel like my parents maybe had a hard time like making new friends. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, maybe that's not true, but I just feel like maybe they couldn't even relate to their siblings in the same way that they used to be able to, because their perspectives had changed.
How long were they in out of the U.S.?
It was like 6 or 7 years.
Oh,
I
same
can't
as
remember.
you.
Yeah, same as me.
It's a long time though. Like,
Yeah.
Once I like sit and think about it.
Yeah, to live in a place. And my parents would go. We would go all over the place. We were going to like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, all the time. and my dad went to like the Great Wall of China and like did all of that stuff. So like there was a lot of other traveling going on besides like staying in Singapore.
Why were they traveling so much? Like, was it
cheap.
their job? Oh, just because they wanted to.
Yeah, everyone does when you're in Singapore. Flights are like $100 round trip to like Bali. Yeah.
It's nice that they had each other though.
My parents?
Yeah, like because they're both going through the exact same thing, which is very.
Yeah.
What a cinematic marriage moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe it was. I don't know, but
I would imagine they're more assimilated now, just because it's been like 20 years.
No, I feel like they're very American now, and sometimes it really makes me annoyed how American they are.
Wait, why?
Because I don't feel like that American, so it's weird. But yeah, I don't know. Like I never really had that many friends once I moved back to America. Like when I was. The weird thing is when I went back to Singapore to visit people, people that knew me, they're telling me, based off my personality as a young child, they told me, like, we expected you to be, like, prom queen. Or, like, you were so, like, everyone loved you and you were so nice and social and, like, had a good personality and smart. And then I, like, went to America and I was, like, a nerd and I had, like, no friends and I, like, would read Harry Potter and, like...
That's not...
I was Hermione 3 years in a row for Halloween. I was really nerdy. Maybe I would have still been nerdy if I stayed in Singapore. But I feel like most of the people in Singapore were kind of nerdy anyways because they're all like business and engineers children. Yeah. So like I would have probably still fit in.
That's so strange because I never thought about like what kind of person you would be if you were still living there. But yeah. I think maybe like moving over here like may have like I don't want to say traumatize you because that's a very dramatic word, but definitely like...
It did. Like thinking back to it, I really think I was like had on and off depression since I was 8 years old. Yeah.
What do you think like triggered it though? Like was it just generally being in a different
sorry. It was too delicious.
It's okay.
Just like coming to this place that your parents always tell you, this is our home. We're from America. We're American.
Weird.
You go home and you're like, this sucks. Like,
this isn't
my home. And then you're like a little kid and people are I didn't really think about what my home was until I went to college, but it felt like so weird to keep people telling you this is your home and you're supposed to feel a certain way about it, and I just like didn't feel anything about it.
Just the reason why I'm like getting together with people is that I want all of us to kind of like have this moment of stopping and observing like who we are like at this point in history, because we're definitely evolving as like members of this ethnicity, of this culture like in America, and like we're changing and we're not what we used to be like in 90s or like early 2000s even. So just to like stop and be aware of our status right now and like how do we feel about it, and if we do feel negatively, like if there's something that we can do.
No apologies. This? What about this? Actually, I like the tomato flavor. Have you ever had these yet? And I like... I'm not gonna actually buy this. It might be in like the candy. Yeah. Sorry.